Hey, I'm Tim Selby here at the iconic Steamboat Barn. Such a beautiful place to be on a snowy morning that it is right now. This barn is like, it's a reminder of where this community has come from. It's a reminder of who this community has come from. And remembering where we've come from, who we've come from, is such an important thing in life. And right now in the life of the church, this Sunday is what we call All Saints Sunday, where we remember, honor, celebrate the saints of our lives, the people who have loved us and made us who we are. Such an important time in our faith community. Long ago, when I was a young man, I loved a young woman by the name of Leanne. And on a beautiful blue sky, early summer morning, I held her in my arms as she took her last breath. So few breaths. So few breaths for her life here on earth. And yet, she worked so hard for every single one of them. Like many people who deal with cancer, she was afraid, angry, sad. But more than anything, she was courageous and strong, so committed to living, so committed to drawing the very most out of every breath she could find in her diminishing body. So committed to life. It's funny how when you know your breaths are limited, how precious every one of them becomes. But the truth is that all of our breaths are limited, aren't they? Sometimes we just take them for granted. And a big part of the spiritual life is to try to help us to wake up to the beauty, the wonder, the gift of each breath, of each moment, of each day that we have to live here on earth. As we honor the saints who have come before us, I think one of the best ways that we do that is to live fully, to live deeply, to love well, and to embrace life in honor of all of our saints. In our church this Sunday, I hope you can join us. We all light candles in honor of the saints of our lives. It's a beautiful ritual we engage in every year. If you can join us, we'd love to have you. But if you can't, or if you're somewhere else, I'd invite you, when this little video is done, to take a little pause in your day, to light a candle in memory and honor of your saints. As we do that on church this Sunday, we're going to read a litany of remembrance. The great Rabbi Abraham Heschel once said that much of what the Scripture requires of us can be summed up in one word, and the word is remember. And so I'd invite you to remember your loved ones who have passed on before us right now as we say to them these words. In the rising of the sun, and in its going down, in the blowing of the wind, and in the chill of the winter, we will remember you. In the opening of buds, and in the rebirth of spring, in the blueness of the sky, and in the warmth of summer, we will remember you. In the rustling of leaves, and in the beauty of autumn, in the beginning of the year, and when it comes to an end, we will remember you. When we are weary and in need of strength, when we are lost and sick at heart, we will remember you. When we have joys that we yearn to share, when we are filled with love that overflows, we will remember you. So as long as we live, you too shall live, for you are part of us, and we remember you. In the letter to the Hebrews in the New Testament, there's a beautiful phrase that calls our saints of our lives the cloud of witnesses, sometimes called the communion of saints. But the writer of Hebrews calls it the cloud of witnesses. And I love that image of a cloud, because a cloud can be beyond you, above you, around you. You can be in the cloud and know you're a part of it, even though you can't grab onto it or hang onto it. And that writer of the Hebrews says this: since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off every weight that would hold us back and run with perseverance the race that is set before us, following Jesus, the pioneer and the perfecter of our faith. We have this cloud of witnesses, folks, around us. So let us not be held back. Let us live fully, deeply, following Jesus, the one who teaches us to love, to care, to bring light and goodness to the world. Let us live in that way. Because you know what? It won't be long before all of us take our last breath and follow them across the veil between this life and the life to come. Life is short and it's fragile. We want to live it deeply and enter into the life to come when that comes our way. I don't know how that works. You know, on a time like this, around All Saints' Day, I could wax on about thoughts about the afterlife. I could talk on and on about my beliefs and hopes about the afterlife. I could even talk about things I don't know or understand, but talk about them anyway, because that's what preachers do, right? Yeah, or I could just simply say this. I could simply say, like many of you, I'm a follower of Jesus. Like many of you, I seek to breathe in that spirit that hovered over the waters at the very beginning of time. I seek to breathe in that spirit that Jesus breathed on his followers. And I don't know how what comes next works. But I'm not really concerned about what comes next. I trust that. I trust that without explanation or understanding. I trust that to the one who gave me life. So I'm not really concerned about how things work in the next life, but I'm really concerned about how things work in this life. I'm really concerned about how I can make every breath count. I'm really concerned about how you can make every breath count. Not take any of it for granted. Now, as I say, make every breath count, I want to make clear that that's a metaphor, right? I don't want that to feel like pressure, because there's going to be a time sometime when you're laying on the couch in the middle of the afternoon and there's a million things you could or should be doing, and you're going to think, oh no, I'm supposed to make every breath count. You're going to feel guilty. When you have that feeling, here's my advice: when you have that feeling, stay right there on the couch. Just stay there. Take a breath. Realize it's a metaphor. And sometimes it's doing absolutely nothing when we could be doing everything that makes life count. How we find that is probably different for each one of it, and you'll find out how to make life count for you. But be gracious to yourself along the way. Give yourself some grace. You know what? Because we're all trying, right? So I just want to wrap up with some words from Jesus. What's known as the Sermon on the Mount, when Jesus gathered with his followers on a hillside. I like to think of one of these hillsides in Steamboat Springs. Just gather with people. A large crowd came to hear what he had to say. And he started off with some words that were poetic, they were profound, they were mysterious. They're known as the Beatitudes. I find the Beatitudes really hard sometimes to talk about because they just speak for themselves. So that's why I want you to hear them today without any commentary or explanation from me. Let us just hear these pure, simple, poetic, profound words of Jesus, because these words have to do with how we live here and how it might be in the life to come. They have to do with this life and beyond, as only Jesus can say them. Hear these words. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the children of God. And in response to Jesus' words, I would offer these. Blessed are the saints who have loved us and made us who we are. Blessed are those who remember from where they have come. Blessed are those who make every breath